video will provide an overview of BrightServer scripts and explain why they are used and how extremely powerful they are in integrating into backend data sources with the BrightServer as part of your mobility solution. So here I have a BrightServer BEP configuration file, and I've just got a sync point here which shows you the data flows for all the simple out-of-the-box data sources that BrightServer provides. So here you have the database. I'm reading a database flowing into table 1. So that's so BrightServer is being instructed here to read the information from database 1 to send it to table 1 on the mobile devices, and turning around in the other direction, table 2 is being sent to BrightServer. BrightServer is then persisting that to file. So there you have the out-of-the-box integration options that BrightServer provides you. But in the real world, there tend to be more complex requirements, and often we need to integrate into more complicated data sources. And BrightServer, to answer this requirement, BrightServer provides JavaScript running in BrightServer scripts. And by doing this, BrightServer provides the most powerful and most flexible architecture possible, with the power of the JavaScript flexibility to enable you to talk to as many existing information sources that you are required to talk to. So this video will go through a demonstration of all of the different types of scripts that come bundled within BrightServer and how they are used, and how the framework plugs into those scripts. So we can create a new script by right-clicking on the scripts node, and we get the new script wizard appearing. The new script wizard shows us the 5 different types of templates that are available. You can start off with no template straight away, or you can come up with the other 5 main BrightServer script types. And I'm going to run through those for the rest of this video. The sync reader template, I'm just going to create this one and call it a reader. And what this does, this shows you how Bright Builder here is giving us a JavaScript environment now for us to complete this script. The template wizard creates this sample skeleton code, and it shows you all of the functions that will be called by the framework, and that shows you how BrightServer interacts with this script, how it expects to interact with this script. So I'm creating a reader. The purpose of a reader template script is to provide a way that we can put together the data ourselves. If you're trying to read from a data source other than a database or a file, then you can read from it might be an XML file, it could be a web service, even an email server, some sort of data source that you need to get to via JavaScript. So the open reader takes, bearing in mind that JavaScript is a loosely typed language, we take the string payload and the limits, basically some hints that are coming from the Brightforms client about the type of read that we want to read. Think of the string as basically as a string payload that could do something. It's fully customizable for what you want to do here. So it might be the name of the device or item that you're trying to read. It could be a code, whatever you need it to be. Then beyond open reader, we have close, so you can do some cleanups if you set something up with your open. And then read will return a record set, which is a well-defined object within the BrightServer environment. And then to finish it all off, we can get a callback from the system to indicate that the previous data that was read has been consumed. So basically, this is allowing you, if you're going to support transactions in your data transfer, then this is the close off for you there. The next one, if I just go down the wizards one by one, is a writer, and this is very similar to what we just looked at with the reader. So again, we get the template, the skeleton code coming from the template wizard. We have an open close, so this is where you need to enact your opening. Maybe you're connecting maybe allocating some resources which need to be deallocate them in the open, need to be deallocated in the close. Write is where you basically, this is where you're taking the vector of data that's come to you from the client in a vector of objects, and then you're going to go through that vector of record set objects to be consumed in the way that you need them to be. Maybe, for example, here you may be persisting those to a structured XML file. It might be writing to web services. You might need to write to a consumer that has a well-structured API, application programming interface, exposed to you that you need to interact with here. We have some transaction management. By default, all transaction is false, so there is, out of the box, there is no transaction support if you've got a very simple type. Otherwise, you have full transaction control here with begin, rollback, and commit. The next one is the job template. So what a job is where basically you need to run a task. You need to run a task on a schedule in the background, and it needs to do something that obviously you need the script to do. Next one is the online query. The online query and the RPC, the last ones that we'll look at here, are quite similar. I'll just call it online. And this is basically called when you need to be able to provide an online query response to the client. Now bear in mind that online queries are supported out of the box for the database, but in this case maybe you need to provide an online query request to another type of data source. Again, it might be an API or an XML file, email server, you name it, and we're getting a string payload from the client. This could be some sort of a hint or an indicator from the client about the type of query that needs to be run. It could be a simple SQL query. Really, it can be anything that you need it to be for this fully customizable script object to work. In the same way as that, the final type of script I have is the RPC. I'll just create that there to get a look at the skeleton that comes out in the JavaScript. And just like we had with the online query, here we have one function execute RPC coming from the client that expects to get a record set of data returned to it. Here we're going to get the function name and some parameters and their values passed to us. So that shows us the full power of what's available in the BrightServer scripts. At Bright Software, we believe this is the ultimate answer to your back-end integration needs. It gives you the full power to talk to any type of integration requirement that comes up. That concludes this video on BrightServer scripting. Please be sure to check out more information and how-to videos on brightexpress.com.